IVM.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today with us, we have Raj Shamani for a second time. If you've heard the first podcast, if you haven't, well, please go listen to it. But in the first podcast, he spoke about understanding entrepreneurship and his take on entrepreneurship, which is very, very unique. You know, it is not about those glam business jet pictures and things like that, but it was about how do we ignite the entrepreneur in each of us. And I found that conversation very interesting. And we ended by talking about branding. And that's what today's podcast is. Branding and personal branding. I think that is something that Raj is very particular about. And I think that's a fantastic topic that all of us need to start, especially in this new digital age that we're in. Raj, welcome to the Habit Coach podcast.
Thank you so much. I am humbled to be back here again. I feel really nice that I was worthy enough that I'm invited again and doing the second podcast now.
No, I actually love it. You know, like we're talking about, full on, double tick. Seen and approved.
Yes.
All right, swipe, whatever the current way of thinking about it is. So Raj, you know, we talk about branding, right? Even like think about it, like double swipe has now become a thing, which is also part of our branding and everything, double tips, all of that, right? So, you know, it is so important to start thinking branding. When I think, or when I say the word branding, what are the kinds of thoughts that come to your mind?
Trust.
Lovely.
That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. It's just one simple thing, trust. Trust over everything. And specifically if you're living in India, forget about everything else, just trust. Indians pay much more attention to trust over any other thing.
Brand equal to trust. How would you expand this as a thought? You know, like three brands, three things that are trusty. How would you go about it? Yeah.
Oh, that way. Okay. So at the end of the day, there is something which I do for you. You liked it and you want to name it. You want to mark it up. Okay, this is it. I do it again, then again. Every time I deliver with the same consistency, with the same thing, and every time you're happy with me. What do you name it? And that name becomes the brand, and that is what I say, call it trust.
Okay, fair. So it's not just the name that we're talking about. Now we're talking about the emotion along with it, which is trust.
Exactly. The trust. So at the end of the day, if I say, let's say, you and me, we both are, for example, bankers. We both do banking, right? You are supplying goods to somebody. You're doing the banking. You're providing services, the banking services. I'm also doing the same thing. We do it with 10 people. You do it with 10 people. Okay. And we do the same 10 people. Now the 10 people have a bad experience with you, and the 10 people have good experience with me. So would they say banking is bad or banking is good? They would say your brand is bad and my brand is good, or my brand is bad and your brand is good. And that brand is a trust which overall, so next time when they have to 11th time or the 11th person they recommend to, they would specifically not say ki banks ke paas jao, they would say, oh, Raj Bank ke paas jao. And that Raj Bank is a way of showing appreciation, way of showing confidence that they trust you enough. That is what matters. And that's why I say that brand is equal to trust for me.
Lovely. Love it. So now we have brand. Now, what is personal brand? Ye kya hota hai? What is personal brand? What is personal branding? What are those aspects of it? Is it the same thing? Is it trust? Is it something else?
Individual. It's the same thing, but it's much more than the organization. So organizational brand, if there are hundreds of people, you cannot have every individual to have their own brand. So that's why they they all collectively form a group together, and then they call it one brand and they work towards that vision. They all serve, feed, everything they do it for one brand. Okay. And a personal brand is you do it for yourself. You make sure that you outstand from every other person in the same field, and you are more trustworthy, you are more reliable, and you are the one who's over delivering every time. So that's become the personal brand. So individual, I think the branding laws are same. It's just a different distribution. It's just a different tangent. That's it. Everything else is same. At the end of the day, emotion, trust, it's there. So I always say that brand is built of two things. Okay. Obviously, one is emotion is trust. But the two, if you talk about functional things, then there is functional utility and emotional utility. The brand is that. So functional utilities, let's say, in terms of personal brand, I'm talking about as a speaker, right? So Raj is a speaker. Functional utility would be His voice modulations are great. His performance is great. His stage presence is great. His content is great. And emotional utility would be that every time Raj tells me something that is always true, Raj never sells me anything else. Raj connects with me on a deeper level, on a root level, and he knows the ground reality. So when I am trying to connect emotionally on the ground level on an individual basis, so when you mix functional utility and emotional utility, you can have a very good, long-lasting brand.
Lovely. I love this idea. Functional utility, what can you do? And emotional utility, which is how do you make the person feel at the end of the day?
Feel and relation. Yeah.
These two things combine to form feel and relationship. And these form this idea of a brand and a personal brand. Now, how should people go about doing something like this? Like, are there steps? Are there things that they should watch out for? Are they, should they be doing researching, what are the other kinds of people in my field doing? Like, how should people go around doing this?
Absolutely. So there are the simple ways. I think at the end of the day, for me, everything is about mindset and energy. So the simple mindset, simple things which you get. Number one, first, let me go to the initial conversation why personal brands are important at all. So anything which happens at the micro, over the time in the world happens at the macro.
Explain.
Okay, I'll give you an example. And explain this. कुछ भी अगर छोटा सा हमारे आसपास हमको दिखता है वो हो रहा है, तो धीरे धीरे वो रेप्लिकेट होके वो सोसाइटी में एक्सेप्ट अगर ज्यादा बड़े लेवल पे होता है, then it's bound to become one of the biggest thing in the world. Okay, because it's getting accepted by people regardless of ethnicity, regardless of economic status, regardless of their culture, it's just getting accepted. So how personal brands build? जब हम लोग हमारे दादा type, like if you talk toward grandparents, right, or parents, when they wanted to buy, let's say, a television, where would they buy from? Which brand would they buy from? They would only be like, अरे मेरा वो शर्मा है ना, उसका दोस्त है, वो बहुत बढ़िया आदमी, उससे ले लो. And whatever that Sharma ka dost suggests you, that becomes the best brand you trust on. You have no clue what LG, Xiaomi, Samsung is. You just trust on that person. And that has been the part of our culture since very long time. So that shows that Indians, by far, by fault, we pay attention to trust over everything else. And if that is happening in the micro level, it's bound to happen at the macro level as well. Now, this is one thing which is why this is personal brand is important. Because जब micro level पे हुआ तो बड़े level पे होगा, and overall at the big point, personal brands are going to take over the institutional brands, which has already started happening in the world. We all are seeing the Musk effect, right? We all know like Musk has become much bigger than the other
yes,
companies altogether. Now there is one thing with the concept of sales. Let's talk about extremely from the concept of business. Earlier, there was information disparity.
Okay.
So information disparity matlab ki seller had more information than the buyer. So let's say you came to me and you want to buy a TV. So you came to me, I will tell you 10 things and 10 features about a TV which you would not be aware about. So the ball is in my court. I get to sell you whatever I want to. Tabhi everybody hates the pushy salespeople, sleazy and all of that. But that is what pehle tha ki jab pata hi nahi tha. So I would tell you whatever, you'd believe it or you won't believe it, and there's no information. Then the ball was in my court. Then came the information parity. The information parity, the internet age. So हम लोग अभी जी रहे थे अभी तक, where the buyer had equal information than me. The seller had the equal, buyer had the equal. You know what TV you want, you know what features one TV has, you know what everything is there. Okay. So it was equal. Now the point comes information disparity. Okay. Information overload. Information disparity, information parity, and information overload. And information overload matlab कि यहाँ पे the buyer has much more information about the things which is going to buy than the seller. I might not know 10 brands of a TV, but you know already because you've already compared it on 10 other platforms, 10 internet blogs. You know it much better than me. So here, now if I'm a TV salesperson, like I have a showroom where I sell TV, how do I sell you? Let's say I am Raj Electronics and you're Ashwin Electronics. Why should people not buy from your electronics and my electronics? That's where the trust comes up. And that is where the only thing in the information overload era is going to win is the trust. Because features, information, har cheez to tumko already pata hai. You cannot play price forever. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to do business at 1 rupee, right? So at this point, your brand becomes the most essential thing. Because now, when jab do cheez ekdam same cheez bej rahe hain, कस्टमर को पता है कि ये दोनों सेम चीजें बेच रहे हैं, कस्टमर को पता है कि मुझे पता है मुझे क्या लेना है, उसके बाद भी मैं किससे लूं, that will only get defined by trust factor, the emotion factor, and that's where the personal level, personal brand comes into picture. That's why it's very important.
Superbly put. Because, I see this with my friends who work at Google, for example. Right? Google, massive organization, everyone's super intelligent, everyone's doing this. And they were saying that, how do I make myself stand out? Right? Everyone's now at almost parity level with regards to the brand. Some people higher up in the hierarchy, some people lower up. Like, how do I make myself stand out? And I know many people will be listening to this as well and saying that, yeah, like, I also want to now,
stand
trust ka issue chahiye. What should we be doing?
So you win trust with only one thing, by getting an edge over other people. And how do you get an edge? By three things. Either you entertain them, you inspire them, or you educate them.
Entertain, inspire, educate. Lovely.
If I'm not having an edge over you, you won't trust me that Raj knows much more than me, or Raj has the authority much more than me. Raj has the credibility. How do you show credibility? By either entertaining, educating, or inspiring. So now you need to find out ways. How can I do that? Earlier, it used to be like एक मोहल्ले में एक अंकल होते थे, पेड़ के नीचे बैठते थे, उनकी विजडम होती थी, पूरा मोहल्ला उनको ही सुनता था. उन अंकल ने बोल दिया तो वो हुआ. All you have to do is, with the mediums of internet, with the platforms available here, you have to become that uncle, which is spitting out wisdom.
Correct.
And now you don't have to completely educate. You can inspire people by telling good stories. You can educate them by telling them about something which they don't know about. You can entertain them because people are going with so much stress that they need, at the end of the day, entertainment. You can do anything, but you need to win an edge. An edge people get by producing. We are in the world where everybody is a consumer. You need to become a producer. If you become a producer who's producing content and either entertaining, inspiring, or educating people, you have already got an edge over other people. Once you have an edge, your brand already there.
Superb. Get an edge, start doing one of these three things, start putting yourself out there on one of these three things. Have you noticed one more powerful than the other? Do you think all are equal? Do you think some have an edge over
all
the
are
other?
Equal.
All these three are equal: educate, inspire, entertain?
Yeah, absolutely. You tell me, no. So when you listen to Steve Jobs' speech, it's inspiring. Like when you listen to Gary Vee's thing, he's educating. And when you listen to Hassan Minhaj or Trevor Noah, I don't know if you know any one of them.
Of course.
Russell Brunson. Yeah. So when you listen to them, it's entertaining. Who's bigger than who? Who has a better edge than who? You can't decide that. You have different modes, different things, different positioning. Everybody's equally good at their craft.
Yeah.
You cannot expect Steve Jobs to beat Trevor and Trevor to beat Gary or Gary to beat Steve Jobs. You cannot do that. So all of them are equal.
And what's interesting is that each of them are a bhelpuri of these different traits. Like even Steve Jobs, while he was, being informative, there was an element of drama to it, right? Him pulling out the MacBook Air from an envelope. It was entertainment at that point in that way.
That brings me to second point. Now, in the world where everybody is either entertaining, educating, or inspiring, let's say we talk about education. Okay, I am an educational content creator. You are an educational content creator. How do we get our edge now? So now the only edge you get, everybody knows this. It's relativity. How much you're able to relate with your audience. And how do you relate with it? By putting your personality into it. So all you need to do is bring out your own personality. If you're angry as a person, put that out anger. If you're happy as a person, laughter is your thing, make those crazy jokes. If your basic thing is drama and you want to become like Shah Rukh Khan, do that. It's your personality. Once you have that personality in your education, entertainment, or inspiration, automatically you will find your own group and they'll start following you. So your niche is you. Most of the people say that personal branding mein niche is very important. And I absolutely believe this. You need to find your own niche. You need to find that one category where you can absolutely dominate. Now everybody is finding the niche. What is your niche? You are your niche. You as a person, your niche. So Raj Shamani is a young entrepreneur who's trying to learn a lot of things, hustling down, trying 10 different sports, trying speaking as well, and learning how to make money, how to inspire people, how to speak at stage is a niche. I just want to find more people like Shamani who are interested in it and then try to cater them. I am this person who's trying to figure out how to achieve big things in life. So I'm figuring out. That became my niche. Everybody who's figuring out in their life are welcome. Sit together. We'll talk about a topic. Together, we'll form a community of people who are figuring out. And this is my niche. That's how I've built my entire brand.
Lovely. Did you spend time thinking about this? Did you spend time creating, crafting it? Or is it something that happened through trial and error? Or is it something that just ended up?
Okay. So I won't lie that I try to think a lot about my niche. And that's when I came up to this key. Okay, I am thinking so much. There are hundreds of people like me who are thinking at the same time. Why don't I make this only a niche? Why do I tell people that I've got all it sorted out? I don't have everything sorted out. I don't have the plan. I don't have what it takes to, be extremely clear like a Buddha or Robin Sharma or a 5 a.m. club. I don't have all of this. I don't. I am trying to figure out. I'm learning 10 things. I'm listening to 10 podcasts. I'm trying to read as many books as I can. I'm trying to meet people. I'm trying to ask people, seek advices, find problems, do everything possible so that I can come up with one niche. Why don't I make this only a niche? And that's when. So all my time, which I spent, in looking for the kind of niche or finding out right niche, took me to a point where I didn't have to find any niche.
Love it.
And that's the beauty about it.
Your journey became your niche.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what I wanted for everybody. Like, I think that's the easiest way and the best way because that comes natural to you. In a personal brand, you want to build a brand, build yourself a brand.
Raj, how should people then take this to the next level? So they said, all right, fine. Niche, I'm going to be my personality. I'm going to let myself through. People say I'm like this, I'm fun loving, I'm this, I'm going to commit out, bubbly is going to happen. Super. Now what do I do? Do I Instagram page? No, where should I do? Like, is it a where question? Is it a what question? What do you think?
Okay, so now I see this as a strength again. Okay, as a strength question. Do you think talking to people naturally, randomly, without having a pressure of cameras is the most natural you? If yes, then start a podcast. Do you think that 15 seconds in chalte ekdam boom, ye hua. If that is, then Reels is a natural platform for you. If you think that writing the entire night, researching about it, making a script and then recording a video is your type, that you're a person who loves detailing and you're the kind of person who loves preparing things, that is your type, then boom, all you have to do is start YouTube. You need to decide what is your strength. Do you think that you're not comfortable with talking, you're not comfortable with speaking on camera, you're just comfortable with writing? Start with LinkedIn. Do you think you are very sarcastic and crack jokes? You are that one person जो 10 लोग बैठ रहे थे बीच में से poke करके joke मार के निकल जाता है? Then start with Twitter. So at the end of the day, you need to realize what is your strength. Once you are very comfortable with one platform for 3 months without a break, 90 days, then you figure out how can I take this thing only and try to get out of my comfort zone, experiment on a different platform.
Okay.
That's it. Very simple. Strength and comfort are the two things which I feel that most of the people are not talking about. It's the underrated conversation.
Strength and comfort. Explain a little bit.
So what is your strength? What is the most natural self where you're comfortable in? Use that to get into uncomfortable situations and win over them.
Interesting. I was saying, Raj, before going ahead, we'll take a quick break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another very special week on the IVM Podcast Network. Before I get to that, let me quickly thank our sponsors on the network this week. Storytel, thewholetruthfoods.com, and we have a new sponsor in Syed. Thank you all so much for being part of the network. So, this is Valentine's week, and we have a bunch of stuff for you guys. So I'm going to give you a couple of episodes that you could definitely catch up with. Agla Station, Season 2, Episode 12, Be Our Valentine. Ritasha and Ayushi have a little bit of talk about love and all the rest of the stuff that goes wrong with that. On The Habit Coach, Episode 396, Ashdin Doctor did an episode which went into the much-debated origins of Valentine's Day. Also, do check out Candid Kannan with Siddharth Kannan featuring Govinda and his wife Sunita Ahuja. He talks to them about amazing 33 years together. But you know what, folks? If you want to hear more about these Valentine's Day things, what I suggest is go to our webpage, ivmpodcast.com/blog. And on the blog, we're going to post a bunch of different playlists that we've created for all the various major services. So if you're feeling in the mood for love, do check that out. You'll definitely enjoy enjoy it. Just a quick note on a few other noteworthy episodes this week. Nankari Kunal Vijayakar was the guest. They spoke about street food with him. On Simplified, they talk about vaccinating 1 billion people, then the logistical and administrative task in front of us. And on the Wire Talk, Siddharth talks to Devdutt Mukhopadhyay about the human cost of internet shutdowns. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
And we are back. What are some of your pet peeves when you see people starting off or doing these things? Like, for example, let's take each of these categories, right? Ye reels wale, ye podcast wale, all of them. Let's take like two pet peeves in each of these. Like, what are things that you think people should definitely avoid doing?
Yeah, I definitely don't have that because I've made almost every mistake. Okay. Like, I started the first video.
And that's why people should learn from them.
Okay, so it was a video of me in my college presentation. I'm recording from my phone. Life is like an ice cream. Enjoy before it melts. That was my first motivation line, which I said, and I wanted to pass it on the YouTube video. I was like, I'll start with one line a day. Dheere dheere, मैं thought of the day prepare karke, because people need to learn thought of the day. This is how I'll start motivating.
Life is like a jalebi. It goes round and round and is sweet. Love it. I'm telling you, we must make a series out of this. Life is like a dessert.
Yeah.
Too good.
Yeah, life is like, oh, nice. I like the idea. I'm going to steal it.
Go for it.
No, please don't sue me for copyright or anything.
Inspiration.
Oh, yeah, that's a better word. I'll come back to that point as well. The inspiration, copy, and influence all apart. It's a beautiful point. Coming back to your pet peeve, I think instability in camera is my pet peeve. When people are making video, very shaky, that's my pet peeve, one of the biggest pet peeves. People should not do that. Number two, my biggest pet peeve is when people are not giving every information about a piece of content. For example, if it's a video and they're not giving subtitles, I feel bad about it. Because sometimes I just don't want to listen to their voice. I want to read what they have to say. So everybody who's making videos should add subtitles. And everybody who's making podcasts should add timestamps or at least type out the questions. Okay, these are the 5 questions we're talking about in the day. So with podcasts, I feel this. With videos, I feel this. That the lack of information is a big turn off for me.
Interesting. I hadn't even thought about that.
People feel that ab to maine podcast bana liya, ab to upload kar deta hu. Bro, what is there in the podcast? Tell me, why should I listen to this particular episode? Then the 5-6 questions you pointed out so that it gives information to people. Make it easy for people. That's okay. Then number 3, I hate fillers in social media content. Today, I am going to talk about this. Who cares? Who cares? It's a reel for 30 seconds. It's an Instagram video for 1 minute. Who cares what are you going to talk about? Talk about it already. If it's a podcast with 50 minutes, then you need to set up an introduction and all of that is there. With the kind of platform you're on, let's say Instagram or somewhere, like, I don't want you to tell me 10 seconds to wahi chale gaye. So the fillers are the biggest turn-offs again.
Nice.
Then I hate people who give solutions first. I hate people who come up with built up first. So I have a pet peeve ke liye ek cheez batata hu. So I said a lot of no's here. I was saying I didn't have any. And
list has come out. This is like all the stuff that shit I made a mistake where I should not be doing. Love it.
Yeah. So one thing I say with everybody is start with your strength. Always start with your strength. Is your strength voice modulation? Is your strength the question which you're asking? Is your strength the guest? Is your strength the thought-provoking statement which you're going to say? Always start with that and then build up on your entire thing. The start should always be with a bang.
Love it.
Most of the people think that कि मैं end में ये सबसे best बात बोलूंगा. नहीं, ये सबसे best बात starting में बोलो. And then build entire thing कि okay, मैंने ये क्यों बोली. That is the best way to build brand and hook attention of people. Because when you're delivering with your strength, people notice that. You're most comfortable in that. So that's why I say, use your comfort, use your strength to get into uncomfortable zones and kill it.
Correct.
And I have a very simple formula for content. Very simple formula content. Okay. With public speaking, with content, with whether it's writing, podcast, anything. Start with a bang. Then kiss and then end with boom. So start with a bang is like you start with your strength. Then beach mein it's kiss. Kiss is keep it short and simple. Don't try to bring words which nobody understands. Until that is your strength. If that's not your strength, don't try to make it very कि मैं बहुत ज़्यादा metaphors add करता हूँ, figure of speech, हर type की figure of speech में इसमें add कर देता हूँ. तुम Shakespeare नहीं हो, we all know this. Until unless you are a Shakespeare. If you are a Shakespeare, then it's a different game. But
That's
nahi hai
your
to keep
strength.
it very short and simple. Then keep it short and simple and end with boom. Boom means end with something which gives people food for thought. So in simple words, your ending few lines should be the tweet. If you can't make out tweet of your last 4 lines, then that is a bad ending.
So well put. So well put. In fact, that's the biggest thing about content, right? Can you get it down to that one line that you want anchored in the person's mind, that you want to hit them between the eyes with? If you don't have that one point, if you don't have that one idea, this is not the content that you should be putting out. Right? This is not the idea that you should be putting down. One line, can you get your point across? That's what it should be. This is like elevator pitch ka baap.
Yes, absolutely. That's a Twitter concept, no?
Yeah, the Twitter concept is absolutely brilliant, man. It's so crazy to see how Twitter has grown from where it started to what it is now. Crazy.
No, yeah.
So, these are some of the pet peeves that you've noticed on. I love all of them. I think this is so valuable for, so many people listening, especially if they want to get into this content thing. And from our conversation, I hope everybody wants to get into this content thing. It's somewhere that you need to be there because you have to showcase yourself in different ways. I was saying, what are the definite things people should have of their digital presence? Because these are all digital presence things that we're talking about, right? What are things that people definitely should have?
Signature. That's number one.
Okay.
Signature as in, what is that one thing which makes people instantly see that, oh, this is Raj ka content. Oh, this is Ashdin's content. Oh, this is this. What is that? It acts like a sonic branding. Jo hum log pehle bachpan mein sonic branding on radio, it was there. You understand sonic branding, right?
Correct. Yep.
We all know what you're talking about. Itna line hi sabke liye kafi hai ki kiska hai. So that sonic branding in the visual terms or in the how you're talking, how you're speaking, or any one gesture, you should always have that. Because once you have that, then people know with long form content, this is it, which most of the people do it with their intros. So that is one thing which I feel should be there. Okay. That the signature should definitely be there. Number 2, which is most underrated thing, is collaborating with your competitors. People feel that I should not give away my reach to my competition. I should not collaborate with that person. That person's going to take my audience. That person's going to take my sale. But that person is A, going through the same thing which you are going through. B, has the same audience which you want to cater to. See, if you both come together, then you can command and you can build a cult and command premium in the market. Why are you not doing it?
Correct.
That is, as a content creator, we all look at people that, oh, I want to collaborate with somebody who has 10 million followers, 5 million followers, 1 million followers. It's good to be that ambitious. It's good to try that. But start collaborating with people who are either at your level or one level above you or one level below you. If you like their content, your ego should not come in between. Ki, oh, iske to sirf 2000 follower hai, main to 50,000 pe, I should not do it with it. Doesn't matter. If you have 500 followers, you partner with somebody who has 100 followers if you both vibe and talk about same thing. Do it. Collaboration is the most underrated thing, and collaborating with your competitors is super underrated. So that's one thing which people should, which they should keep doing more and more.
Correct. Especially we started talking about the mentality, and we were talking about how things were in the past, where because information was scarce, everybody was your competitor and you were holding everything close to your chest, holding your cards close to your chest. Now information is everywhere. And this is the world of collaboration, not of being secretive. Everyone can find your information anywhere. It's not out there. And the next thought I had was, what are the places where people typically trip up? Like, for example, you were talking about followers. Correct? I've been working at this for so long, I still only have 400 followers. I still only have 500 followers. You'll always still only have X amount of followers.
Yeah.
Correct? How, are follower counts important? B, what are your 3 best strategies for increasing follower count?
Okay. So number 1, follower count is important. I would not say that it's completely irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's really, really, really relevant because at the end of the day, you're going to get judged based on that. You're going to get all your business, money, deals, all of that on that. You won't be able to measure your impact if you don't have big numbers, So at the end of the day, that matters. But if that is getting into your head and that is the only reason why you're doing anything, then it's bad. You should always look up to increasing your follower count, increasing your impact, increasing your income, increasing your personal level. But it should not act as a validation for you कि oh मैं 500 followers पे हूँ तो मैं बहुत अच्छा हूँ और 5 million पे हूँ तो मैं बादशाह मैं शाहरुख खान हूँ. You should not get to your head. That's the thing. Now, how to increase your followers? There is one, so I told you about already, collaboration. That is how you can increase followers.
Okay.
Number two, the most important thing, which I think everybody should, do, is getting on platforms which are introducing new features, and then go hard on that. Every time a platform launches a new feature, they promote it internally. So if you're the one who's creating content on that, you're automatically going to get promoted. So your numbers are anyway going to go. So let's say if you come on Instagram just launched Reels. So you need to go hard on the Reels. If Instagram at the time when it started with stories, you need to go hard on stories. LinkedIn came up with stories, you need to go hard on stories. YouTube came up with live stream, you need to go hard on live stream. LinkedIn came up with live stream, go live with that. Every time a platform launches a new feature, go hard on it. Go 7 days a week. Like you do 14 times a week, nobody cares. The more you create on that, the more platform will push you, because not many people are doing that. And when not many people are doing it and platform wants to push you, you're automatically going to get more recognition.
Too good.
So that is number two thing. And every time, don't feel that, ab to chale gaya mera time. Every time there's going to be one platform who will be launching one of the new things. Right now, Twitter launched Fleet. So you can create you can go hard on that and get more followers. Instagram launched Reels. You can go hard on that. YouTube launched Super Chat and live stream. You can go hard on that. LinkedIn also did the same. चारों के चारों platforms एक ना एक चीज अभी promote कर रहे हैं. Go hard on that. You'll grow your followers automatically.
Beautiful.
Right?
Love it.
Now, the third thing, again, I told you, is strength. To gain your followers, you need to play your strength. If your strength is you're this person who pokes and like becomes like a Twitterati, go hard on Twitter, forget about anything else. And wohi wala content, repurpose it to other platforms. Don't force yourself to become a YouTuber if you're a real material. Don't force yourself to become a video creator if you're very good with LinkedIn. Don't. If you want to grow your followers, first you make people like you follow you, then only people who are not like you will follow you. Because somebody who's like you, if that person is not following you, it means you're bad. Improve on that first.
Get your skills up.
Get your skills up. That's why it is. So first, whichever is your natural self, improve on that skill first, and then over the time, try to get out of a comfort zone and experiment on other things. Don't force yourself. If you're a writing material, then don't go for audio. If you're audio material, don't go for video. If you're video material, don't go for any other thing.
Love it. Should you promote posts? Should you not promote posts?
Depends on your intention. What do you want out of it?
Okay.
If you're spending money just to get the validation so that you have more followers, you should not promote it. What are you going to end? You end up losing it. If there's a certain pieces of particular, let's say, content which you feel that, this will do really good. This will give me extremely good reach. This is performing organically well as well. And I might land few deals, or I might increase my following up, or increase my impact with it. Go for it. At the end of the day, don't spend money if you don't have an end goal with that money. It's a major life lesson also.
Absolutely.
If you don't know why you're spending that money, don't spend. If you're fulfilling your ego with that money, and you're only spending money to fulfill that ego, to satisfy yourself in the mind, don't do it. You'll end up broke. If you have a goal, specific goal, I want to reach out to 10,000 followers. In 10,000 followers से मुझे ये मिलेगा. अगर ये मिलने से मुझे कुछ फायदा हो रहा है लाइफ में, तो I should spend money right now.
Interesting.
Or if there's a course to sell, if there's an email list to build, if you want more people to come to your podcast, to make a community, have something. If you have a goal, then only pay for your promotion.
Beautiful. I love it. It is so important to start thinking about your social media, your branding with this goal in mind. Otherwise, what is the point of it doing it? Just because sab koi kar raha hai, there's no reason for doing it. Just because everyone's doing it, there's no reason for doing it. Find your niche. Get better at your niche. Get better at the way that you communicate in your niche. Look at what this niche is going to do for you. See what the end goal is in mind. And then start creating your brand. Get something that you're known for. Like you said, your signature. Right? Gandhiji had his head. Nehru had his rose. Everyone has their thing. Like for some strange reason, my signature became the gap in my teeth. Who knew that was going to become a thing, right? I went to the dentist the other day. I chipped my tooth. He said, "Do you want me to fill it up?" I said, "No, people will not recognize me after that." So, so it's hilarious. It's like crazy what people or what your signature becomes if you're not actually conscious about it. So I think becoming conscious about your signature, making sure that it grows with you, is something that we need to think about. And ultimately, that is what the brand is. Like you said right at the beginning, it's about the way that you can build trust. When people look at 5 other people, why will they choose you, or whatever the advice that you can give or entertainment that you can do, because they trust you in the end.
Yep. And I want to put it in the end. I just want to put it out there. Never, ever, ever cheat somebody who is ready to give their attention or time or money to you. Just because you're getting paid by some other brand to promote some stuff which you don't believe in, don't do that. At the end of the day, the biggest thing I believe in the world is time. If somebody is giving you your time, it means you really mean something to them. Don't sell them something which you don't believe in.
Correct.
Promote as many brands as you want to, but use yourself first. Then you talk about the reality of the brand. Don't talk about anything which you don't use. Don't try to sell people something which you have no clue about. Because if you're making your brand and leveraging that trust to sell something which is not good, at the end of the day, you'll start declining and you'll fall flat on your face. And at that time, again, when you realize this, people won't trust you again.
Very, very true. Very true. And it's so tempting, right? Somebody's sending you a hamper, talk about it, right? You feel obligated to do these things, and it starts happening.
No, but talk about it, but use it. Like, if you like it genuinely, then do it. No, there's no harm in it.
Absolutely.
Even if it's some brand you're getting sponsored with, let's say, for example, it's some face wash. It's an anti-pollution face wash, and you want to promote it because you're getting paid for it. Promote it, do it, but use it first yourself. Do it for 1 week. 7 days, you see whether pollution is getting out, you feel refreshed or no. If you feel refreshed, then promote it.
Correct. So true.
You don't have to use it for lifelong.
Yeah. And I think it's so important, Raj, someday we should have a discussion on this. What should people's principles be? Because these things boil down to this thought called principles, right? Where do you make a yes-no decision instantly because of your principles?
Yeah. I'm a man of values. I'm a man of principles, because that's what I think. I would give all the credit to my parenting. My parents have instilled these things in me so deeply. Karma, values, discipline, principles. So we should talk about this.
It'll be a fun conversation. Done. Yeah. Raj, thank you so much for coming on our podcast. How can people get in touch with you? How can people follow you, consume your content?
Yes. So I want to start on that note that we are going to talk about principles and values on my podcast, which is by the name of Figuring Out.
Done.
Figuring Out by Raj Shamani. And you can find me on every other platform. RAJSHAMANI, Raj Shamani. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, podcast, Twitter, LinkedIn, Quora, Clubhouse, wherever you want to. I'm there, omnipresent.
I love it. Omnipresent across the board. Thank you so much, Raj. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME180. That's Awesome 180.